Hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Hello everybody. My name is Roisin and I am the face behind Sweet Eve Designs, and I am going to be making a Christmas cake topper with you guys today. I absolutely love working with paper. Hi Kerry. So I always get happy when I'm asked to make cake toppers. I have got the lovely Oriana in the comments. She's going to be helping me today to manage the comments, to make sure that we answer any questions that you might have. And also you might ask a general Cricut related question, and Oriana is the pinnacle of all things Cricut. She knows so much more about Cricut than I do, so she will definitely be able to help me. So we're going to make a light up Christmas cake topper today. It's actually quite straightforward in terms of it's only 2 images that I've used from Cricut Design Space, and I want to show you how to use balloon lights to create a light effect in your cake topper. So we're going to be making this cake topper together for the first time. So I haven't got the before to show you, but we're going to make it together. So let us know in the comments where you're joining from, if you're new to Cricut, if you've got it in the box and you're too scared to open. If you're a pro, let us know in the comments. We'd love to know who's joining us on our live this evening. So, cake toppers. I am going to be making a cake topper today using balloon lights. So basically you pull out a tab and these light up. So that's what we're going to be using today for our cake topper. But you could also make this cake topper without the lights. I can create another version of this design that just takes out the holes and contours out the holes, so it will just be a solid cake topper. So that is also an option. It looks really fancy at the end, but it's actually just things layered up and brought together. So let's get started. Now, I'm always overrunning on my lives. I don't feel bad because everybody's overrunning, but I'm determined to stay within the half an hour or so. So I did start out by, sorry, it's mirrored, so it's really hard to show you guys. It's a bit of a weird angle for me, but this is the text, which I need to get used to this, there we go. There we go. This is the text, Merry and Bright. And I've chosen to use like blues, whites and silvers. I've made quite a few things in these types of colours and in the traditional Christmas colours. I've got another cake topper I'm going to show you at the end, which I've made for Cricut UK content, which is in the more traditional Christmas colours, but you could absolutely make this in any colour that you want. So this is just layers of text. I've used the offset tool in Cricut Design Space to build up the layers, and I've used different types of cardstock in different finishes. So you could, if you really wanted to, you could add on your stick, and you could just use this as a cake topper. You don't necessarily have to, you know, have anything that's too, the angle is really throwing me, but yeah, we don't have to have anything that's too fancy. So you could just make it like this if you felt that, you know, you want to start off with something quite simple. So the lights are from Amazon. So you can find them linked on my Amazon storefront. Just search balloon lights. There's different types with different colors. But they are designed to go into balloons. When you take out the tab, they last for quite a long time actually. It says 72 hours, but I've had them going for well over a week. You can put the tab back in if you don't want them to run out of light. Right, so we are going to be making little lights, shapes like this. I'll show you the part like this. I need to get used to this angling. So I want you guys to tell me what colour I should cut one of these lights in, or rather colour, what finish. So I've got 2 types of cardstock. This is a glitter cardstock, which is a bit hard to see in the light. And this is a lovely textured cardstock, which again, you might not be able to see. So let me know in the comments, Oriana, if you could do a poll, that would be great. And then we can start to cut this out on our Joy Extra. I love a Joy Extra. I have got the larger machine as well, but I really like using the Joy Extra. It's really nifty. It's small, and you know, you can do print and cut on it. It really is a great machine if you don't have the space or you don't really want to work with fabrics and engraving. Then a Cricut Joy Extra would be perfect for you. So let me get on to my lappy. And let's see, Oriana, what do we think? What are people saying? Glitter or textured? Let's see what Oriana says. It's not letting you do the poll. Okay, you have to count then, Oriana. What should we do? Glitter or textured? What do you think, looking at the responses? Glitter. I thought you guys might pick glitter, and I secretly wanted you to pick glitter. So I am going to put my glitter cardstock down onto my mat, and I'm going to use my trusty brayer to just make sure that it is. I've got a sticky mat this time, and I'm just going to tell my machine what material to cut, and then we can cut that out, and then we can start assembling. It's taken a while to connect. Right, I'm going to load this in. So while that is cutting, we will get on with building up the layers of our cake topper. So because this is the first time I'm making it, I'm kind of just doing it in an order that makes sense to me. But as I go on, I might actually suggest doing it another way, but we shall see. T-shirts, yes, you can make t-shirts using your Cricut, using iron-on or printable vinyl. You can definitely personalize t-shirts. So I'm going to use some 3D foam pads to just create a little bit of dimension in my cake topper. So I've cut that out. So you can see how quick and nifty it is. There you go, we're already done with the cutting. So I have two layers of this backing. The reason that I have two layers is just because I want to make sure that the cake topper is quite sturdy, just because we're going to be adding in the lights. The lights aren't super heavy, but I felt more assured that it would be sturdy if we used two different backings. So this is effectively the shadow of the whole cake topper, and it will make more sense when we put the different elements together. Do you need a special printer? So remind me, Oriana, I always get this mixed up. Is it an inkjet printer? You can use an inkjet printer for printable vinyl. And then if you are using iron-on, then you would just cut that out on your Cricut machine. I hope that answers your question. So I'm building up and just adding the foam pads all the way across the cake topper. I'm not having as many layers as I would normally have because the light has to sit in behind the layers of the cake topper. So if you have too many layers, the lights will kind of get lost behind. It will make more sense as we start to build them. But let me know, have you ever used balloon lights before? Have you ever used lights in your crafts? Last year I had a shadow box. I added some lights in there. It does always really create quite a festive feeling. And I definitely knew for this cake topper I wanted to do some sort of lights. What's the best way to keep your mat sticky when cutting out a lot of card? What I would say is make sure that every time you finish using your mat and you're taking off your material off your mat, especially with cardstock, you need to use your scraper, which I've got here, and scrape as much off as possible. Sometimes we get a bit lazy after we finish making something, we can't be bothered. That really will affect the stickiness of your mat. Make sure you always put the cover on. And if you find that your mat is starting to lose stickiness, don't wait until it's completely not sticky, but when it's still got a bit of stick, but you know it's going, you can wash it in soapy water and let it dry, or you can use baby wipes and let it dry. But the mats are, what's the word? disposable is not the right word I'm looking for, but they're not designed to last forever. So there will be a point where you will have to purchase new mats. But if you care for your mats, they definitely will last for longer. And I know that there are some non-Cricut brand mats out there, but honestly, for me, I've used others and the Cricut ones are far superior. Although they might be more expensive, you have to buy them less often. And I think there's some really good deals at the moment on Amazon. I don't know if the Black Friday sale's finished, but there were some really good deals for some mats. So I don't know if you can see, but now I've added those two backings together. Then I'm going to add on my text. Which I think I'm just going to add directly. I'm not going to add any foam pads to this because this is already quite 3D here, because there's 5 layers. So it's already quite 3D. So I'm just going to use some glue and apply it directly on the back. So this part is the shadow. So it will tell you where you need to add your cake topper bits. So I always recommend welding together the back part of your cake topper, the whole image, duplicating it and welding it, and then you'll get this kind of backing which acts as almost your guide. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put my Merry and Bright directly on. So can you see how it's starting to take some shape now? Next, I'm trying to think of the order. So this is the first time I'm making it, so I might change how I lay it out, but we'll see as we go along. So this is the shadow, which is just for the lights. And this gives us, again, more sturdiness and allows us to just connect the lights directly to the light part rather than the whole backing of the cake topper. So I've got a lovely glittery white cardstock, and I'm going to use glue with a fine point tip, which really is great if you're doing paper crafting. And then I'm just going to add little dots along it. And then I'm going to add it on. So let us know if you have been doing any Christmas crafting. It is officially December now, so I feel like we have permission. My Christmas tree is up. I feel like we have permission now to do Christmas crafting. Let us know what you've been making. Share some ideas with other people in the chat. So I've made some ornaments. I've made some Christmas cards. You can see some of my Christmas cards up here. This is actually a cake topper I made last year, this Believe. I don't know if you guys can see it because it seems like there's some sort of banner across, but I made it last year and now I'm using it as Christmas decor because I quite like the pastel vibes. So now I've added the string to my lights. I mean, I have made a cake topper before. I've actually used string. You could use twine. Might be a little bit fiddly, but that might look quite nice, especially if you're doing something with like reds and whites or something more neutral. That would be really cute. So now we are going to add on each of our individual pieces, which are all of our different lights. Now, when you cut this out, you might look at the lights and think, oh, they're all exactly the same, so it doesn't matter where I put them. But it is a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle, so each one does have its place. So what you might want to do is lay them all out first and make sure that they're in the right light is on the right light part, and then stick them down. So that's what I'm going to do, just to make sure that I don't make any major mistakes. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to try and work out where each of these go. Now, what I will say is you can see that these have got quite big holes. So these have got really big holes, but the actual lights have got small holes. So when I add the lights in, it will make more sense as to why I've got a different type of hole right at the front and then bigger holes at the back. So I'm trying to decide if I want to add foam pads or not. I think I will just because I don't know. I think it will look better, but we shall see. So I'm just going in and trying to work out where all of these go. They're slightly, each one is slightly different. I guess some of you might be good at looking at the shapes and working out straight away what goes where. I think this is right. I'm not sure. I think some of them might. I know that this one is definitely right because I remember that the bottom one was dark blue. So now we've got to take our glitter one off of our mat. And I always suggest with your mats, do not pull your cardstock up this way or your material, it will just curl. Is turn it on its back, front, whichever way you want to, and roll it back, and then remove your image. So what you can do is you can do that, and then you just have the image left, and then you can use a spatula if you want to remove the image, if that makes sense, or you can do the bend and roll for that option as well. So look at the time. Oh, it's quite early. I'm doing quite well. I think if I'd done the text, it probably would have taken me quite a bit longer. So I'm gonna just make sure that they're all in the right place because one of them is looking a bit off. Right, yeah, so that one's in the wrong place. There we go. Still doesn't look right to me. I mean, the average person probably would not even clock that that is not in the right place, but it will annoy me. So I really want to make sure I have it right. Also, you might want to check if it's the right way around. That doesn't look quite right. I think there might be a slight offset on this. I think I might have put a slight offset, and that might be why it's looking a bit off. But this one really doesn't look right to me. Let's have a little go and see. Bear with me, guys. I'm just here doing a little bit of a puzzle. I know that one definitely goes there because that's the one that we just cut out. I'm going to get there. That one looks right now. That one's not right. That one's right. One of them is still not right and I can't work out which way it is, but I'm going to put this one down here. I'm going to put this one up here. It's not perfect, but it's fine. So now I'm going to go in and I've got these mini foam pads, and I'm going to add one at the top and the bottom of each of my lights just to make it pop out a bit. But you'll see that we don't want to add too many layers and too many, we don't want to make it too layered because we need to make sure that the holes go through for the lights, which at this stage probably makes absolutely no sense to you guys, but it will. Once I'm finished and I add on the lights, it will make sense. So I'm just going in and adding on my foam pads to just create some dimension. But if you don't have foam pads, you can absolutely just glue these down. Or if you prefer a less 3D look, you can just glue them down. And I've tried to use different types of cardstock. So some is textured, some is glitter, some is foil, some is mirror. And that just helps to elevate your project a bit. And then let's do the last one. And I think after I put it together, I will decide if I want to add any embellishments. At this stage, I need to see it all together and then we can decide if we want to add anything. My cardstock, to be honest, is mainly from Amazon. I've got some Cricut cardstock. Some of my cardstock is from abroad. I have family abroad, so they always are so kind and bring me or send me stuff from abroad because there's much more from the US and Canada. But to be honest, a majority of it is from Amazon. That is where the majority of my cardstock is from, and I don't buy the cheapest cardstock. The reality is, if you want to get that quality, you sometimes have to spend a little bit more, unfortunately. So now I have done my lights, so you can see. Now, I'm just going to show you a different type of balloon light. There are different types of balloon lights. These are the solid ones. Eve's been messing around with them. I had one which was coloured, but she's probably stolen it. Right, so this one is a coloured one, so it flashes in different colours. Because I'm using these types of colours, the more kind of like icy colours, I've just had to go with white lights. Usually the balloon lights, they come in solid colours, usually red, maybe blue, white, and then the mixed one, but it's mainly mixed that flashes different colours than white. I think it's quite hard to get hold of the other ones. So now we are going to add our lights onto the side here. I'm just deciding if I want to stick them flat down or if I'm going to use some foamies. I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to stick it flat down, you know. And you might need to push some parts underneath your text. It depends on whether or not you want your lights to sit above or below your text. You can choose. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some glue. And then once I start to build this, the holes will make a lot more sense. If you ever want to work with balloon lights, the big hole needs to be 0.5 inches. And then the small hole, which is going to be for where the light protrudes, as my dad would say, quite an old-fashioned word, needs to be, I think, 0.02 inches. It's taken me a while to work out those dimensions, but I hope that it helps you. So I'm going to add this on here now. So I think some of it is going to sit, so like this one looks like it wants to sit on top. So I might actually add some foam pads. I'm trying to decide. It could go underneath. It could go underneath or it could go on top. Let me try underneath and see how it looks. The good thing about this glue is that it doesn't, I think I'm going to put it underneath actually. It doesn't stick straight away, so you've got a little bit of time to move it around. So now we can see that the cake topper is starting to take shape. So you can see I've got the Merry Christmas here and I've got all the lights that are going around. And this is just two images, the Merry and Bright image, which I've used the offset on. And then this is another light image. It's just two images from Design Space. Now, I decided to add some coloured acetate on the back. This is an optional step, but I think it really does chime well with the theme. I need to grab my glue. I've got a silicone glue, and this glue I use when I'm working with acetate because it's quite slidey. So I prefer to use that than to use hot glue. You can use hot glue, but if you put it in the wrong position, you're screwed. So I like this silicone glue. You can also use just a normal white glue, but I tend to like to use this with acetate. It's a bit messy, but yeah, it's slidey, so you can slide your image into place. So you can even see that my acetate has holes, and when we add the lights, it will make a bit more sense. So this acetate is not from the UK, I have to be honest. This one is a very flimsy one. This one is from the US, but you can get coloured acetate. I found coloured acetate on Amazon. So for example, this is coloured acetate from Amazon. You'll find it on my Amazon storefront. It's just not as, what's the word? It's not as, so it comes in different colours. That's yellowy, that's like a black. So you can find it on Amazon. It's linked on my Amazon storefront. It's just a thicker acetate than this one. But this kind of one with this iridescent finish, unfortunately, I have searched high and low and I've not been able to find it in the UK, sadly. So whenever my cousin comes from Canada, he comes with his suitcase and he brings me lots of things, and I always ask for acetate. But Aunt actually bought this from Atlanta from me, from Joanne's. Right, so I've added on, you probably can't see it. I might, I think I'm gonna just add a little bit of glue here because it seems to be like doing a weird thing here. But you could skip this step. You could have plain acetate and you could add the faux flakes. You know, I love the faux flakes. Or you could use another layer of cardstock. It's absolutely up to you. Now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to add in our lights. And for the lights, you could either do I tend to do them with hot glue. But if you're really nervous, you could use a different type of glue, hold it there, make sure you're happy with it, and then go around with hot glue. But I am going to use hot glue to do this. What I will suggest is make sure you check your balloon lights before you put them in, because some of them are duds, and the last thing that you want is to go and create this beautiful cake topper and then you pull out the tabs and one of them isn't working. So I will just go in and just make sure that all of my things are working. Now you can see that there's a hole, and you can see that there's a big hole, and that is so that the whole of the back part can go through, but at the front you will only see, at the front you will only see that, this is so hard, the mirror thing is really hard, but at the front you will only see that light poking out. You won't see the whole of the balloon light, so it just looks a bit cleaner. So I'm gonna just put I'm just gonna put it in like this, and I'm just gonna hot glue around it because I know it's already in the space that I want. So I'm gonna grab my hot glue and then hold it in place using the tab. You'll be surprised with these, they're quite resilient. Don't worry about them melting, they're not gonna melt. They're absolutely not going to melt. And just go around with hot glue. And that will take a few seconds. You might want to go in and just check, because sometimes it can move slightly, and you want to make sure that the light is in that hole, because it's possible that the light could kind of shift slightly and then you won't see your light coming out. So again, I'm going to check that it works. It works. Put my tab back in. And I'm just going to repeat the same for all the other lights. If you wanted to, you could just have a couple of these with lights, or only one with lights if you didn't have loads of balloon lights, or if you didn't want it to be as lighty. That's not a word, but if you wanted it to be less blingy, maybe you might want to... So just going to repeat that until I've got them all in place. Then I'll probably add my stick, and then we can pull out the tabs, because what I don't want is, sometimes they look like it's set, but it's not quite set. So I don't want to risk. That one's fine. Yeah, I mean, the balloon lights, the only thing I would say about the balloon lights is sometimes they come in like massive bags. And obviously, I mean, unless you're selling stuff professionally, you don't really tend to need that many. They're not super expensive, but it's been a long time since I've bought any balloon lights, because they last, the bag, I don't know how many you get in a bag, but it's too many. You might be able to find a listing where there's slightly fewer. Going to readjust this. Right, last one, and then we can put the stick on, and then we can, oh, it's 2059. Quite proud of myself. Oh, I didn't check that one works. Let's hope. Let's pray and hope that one works. It's not very often you get a dud one, but it can happen, so. Right. I also have a tutorial on my YT channel, which has lights in it. So if you want to work out a bit more about how you use balloon lights and how you add them into a design, if you go over to that It's a superhero one. I won't say the name of the brand, but it's a superhero one. If you go onto it, then maybe it will help you. I think I've also got some other ones on my design space. I've got a dinosaur one that has a car that has lights in the heads of the lights. So sometimes, you know, it's helpful because you might have an idea in mind, but you want to try something out yourself. So I'm going to add my stick on. I can see that this is still quite sticky. This one is not quite set yet. Glue strings everywhere. I think I'm going to add my stick. Yeah, I'm going to add my stick here only because I would normally put it more centered, but because of the balloon lights, I can't basically, because otherwise I'll be blocking the balloon lights. So you want to make sure that at the back you're leaving those tabs clear so that you are not, what's the word? You're not blocking your tabs of your light. So I just want to put it over here by that right part, and then we can right. So here is the cake topper. Should I do that? Should I put the lights out? I'm just gonna tidy up my workspace a bit more. So let's do it. Let me. Oh gosh, right. I'm really sorry, but this whole mirroring thing is very confusing, and it's much better for you guys because you can actually see the image as it is, but for me it's a bit tricky. So I'm going to remove all of my lights, tabs. Make sure you keep hold of your tabs. Christmas! So, Ariana, if you can, do the honours. I need to like maybe be drunk when I come on a live so that I'm naturally like mirroring myself because it's just not working. But if someone could take a screenshot for me, that would be much appreciated. So you can see the lights and it just like makes it really special. But you equally, as I said, what I'll do on the design is I'll duplicate the design for you guys and I will remove the holes where I put the holes for the balloon lights. I'll remove those so you can make this as one solid image. So you can make it with or without lights, you can decide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another cake topper that I have made for Cricut UK's page. This is more of your kind of traditional colors, so your greens and your reds, and it's doesn't have any lights in it. So it's a lot more straightforward. And I'm using some vinyl here for the bauble, floating bauble effect, and acetate. I do love acetate, guys. If you haven't got any acetate, I would really recommend that you invest in some acetates. If you're interested in paper crafting and making cake toppers, it really gives you the ability to work in a different way with paper. So let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer? Do you like the light up one or the traditional bauble one? Let me know. They're very different. They're very different. I mean, this is more like elegant Christmas. Like my aunt makes beautiful Christmas cakes and she uses like royal icing. You know, that's the type of cake topper that I imagine that. Whereas this might be like more of a fun Christmas cake topper. Yeah. So we have got lots going on because it is November. We are spoiling you guys. We're having 3 lives a week in November. So this is the last live for this week. But next week, on Tuesday, here on TikTok, we're going to have Jess, and she's going to be doing stocking personalizations, which is great. It's one of the first things I did when I got my Cricut, was I personalized some stockings for my children, and I still have them going 7 or 8 years later. Then on Tuesday on YT, we're going to have Katie doing Christmas Eve box ideas from IKEA. Again, Christmas Eve boxes are a really cool idea and a great way to start using your Cricut. Really simple. It's my son's birthday on Christmas Eve, so I don't do Christmas Eve boxes because I want to make it special for him, but I know a lot of people do. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Amelia on TikTok, and she is going to be doing, which I thought was hilarious, awkward people. Is that right, Ariana? Gift ideas for awkward people, you know, that are just really difficult to buy for, who are a little bit fussy. She's going to give you some great ideas of how you can make gifts for them or personalize things on your Cricut machine. So we look forward to seeing you next week. This design will be available after the live. Oh, Ariana, that's a better picture. Can you take that one for me, please? Because it's like, or someone. I'm holding it the right way. I just haven't worked that out all night. I find it so difficult. This one is going to be on my Cricut Design Space after the live. I will make it available, and tomorrow probably I will go in and do a duplicate version. So I'll take out the contouring so you can make it without the lights. And this one, if you keep your eyes peeled, there'll be a mini tutorial coming out on YouTube. On Cricut UK's Instagram and TikTok page. And then I will make the design available for this as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I went 6 minutes over. I'm quite proud of myself. I had so much fun. I'm really getting a bit more into the Christmas spirit. And yeah, I hope you had a good time. Please follow me on my different channels. I'm mainly on Instagram. So if you want to DM me, I will reply to all of my DMs. If you have any questions, please just get in contact. And I hope to see you again soon. I probably won't be doing any lives now until the new year. But if you are getting a machine for Christmas, please make sure you join us in the new year. We'll be having lots of tutorials for how to get started. Thank you. Yeah, Sweet Eve Designs. Sorry, I didn't say. Sweet Eve Designs is where you'll find me. Take care, everyone. Bye.